they're gonna be sorry they were ever born.
Who?
All of them.
Welcome back, Raider Nation, on a beautiful Saturday. Hope all of you are having a great day today. If you are new here, I am the Raider D, and you are tuned into the Raider D podcast live. And we're going to get rolling today, talking about a lot of stuff with the Las Vegas Raiders, what has happened over the free agency, what to expect with the draft. Guys, it is open mic. If you want to jump on, I will leave a link down in the comments to where you guys can tune in and come on live with me right now. So here is the link. Let me just make sure that this is correct, but it should be. So I just posted it in the comment section. So you guys should see that now. It says Raider D, and then there's the StreamYard key if you guys want to come and jump on live with me and ask me any questions that you want. First of all, before we get started, guys, drop your comments down below and let me know, how is the video and the audio today? Is everything a-okay? And we will get fired up and going here today. Man, I don't know about you, but I am hyped up for the 2025 NFL season for the Las Vegas Raiders because there is a lot that has changed this year. Most importantly, the coaching situation, the GM situation is all different, and we've got a fantastic head coach now. Not to say that Antonio Pierce wasn't a good head coach. I don't think he was ready to be a head coach, right? So I'm not gonna dog out Antonio Pierce. What Antonio Pierce did well is he got the guys energized and ready to play. What he did not do well was game management and player personnel positioning and coaching hires, right? He was terrible at that. And what do you expect from a rookie head coach who had never had any head coaching experience outside of really high school football? And when you get into college and the NFL, it is a completely different ball game. And so I don't fault him for that, but I am happy that he is no longer the head coach for this reason. And that is because I don't want to wait 5 years for him to get enough experience to finally get good at his job. We have a head coach now who is a future Hall of Fame coach in Pete Carroll. And so I'm all for it. I think we're going to be good this year. I think Pete Carroll is going to right the ship. He is going to bring the discipline, but at the same time, he's going to make sure that the players are having fun. Again, if you're brand new to channel, we are streaming live on YouTube as well as Facebook. And so if you guys haven't come over to our Facebook group, Silver and Black Nation, it is an absolute blast over there. We have almost 100,000 members of the Facebook group, and that is just crazy. And so the conversations over there are amazing. Link is down in the description if you're watching on YouTube and you want to go join us over on our Facebook group. I also want to say thank you to today's sponsor of the video, and that is none other than Aura. Guys, you've heard me talk about them a couple of times now. They are a new sponsor that we brought onto the channel, and I just quickly want to say this. Listen, my wife's computer got hacked 2 years ago, and it was an absolute nightmare. Information is still out there on the dark web. We came across Aura. They reached out to us, wanted to do some stuff with us, and we said, what do you got? And so we ran my dark web search and we ran my wife's. Fortunately, mine came back nice and clean. Nobody's got my private info out there, but my wife's is out there. So Aura is now actively working on that for us. And so I love it. You can get a 14-day free trial. That's long enough to find out if your information is out there on the interwebs and the dark web, especially being used for nefarious reasons. Link is in the description. It's the first link. Get your 14-day trial. Get your free report to find out, is your information or your family's information out there on the dark web? And hey, if you don't want to keep the $5 million guarantee in case of identity theft, you don't have to pay for it. You can cancel your subscription after you get your free report. But please, guys, go make sure that you're safe out there and your information is not on the dark web. And if it is, you need to know, man, because it is getting absolutely crazy. And with the advent of AI, it's only going to get worse. So listen, guys, I just want to say this. I want some comments down in the comment section. Raider Ryan, I see you in here. $100 million bum, I see you in here. Matt Sanchez, Billy and Bass, I see you guys all up in here. Listen, Raider Ryan, I know you've come on the show before. Here is the link. It is in the comments. If you guys want to, just copy that link into your browser and it will bring you up onto the channel. This is Open Mic Saturday. It is something that we are planning on doing more of as I'm getting closer and closer to being able to finish out my studio in on our property. The new studio is going to be really, really cool. But it's taking longer than I thought to make it. So I do have a 40-foot shipping container coming out from a really cool company that makes tiny homes. I'm going to be talking more about them in the future as well. But I have a 40-foot shipping container coming out that I can put all of our stuff in and that I can finally finish this studio. And so right now I just got the, the AI background thing going. But it will be really cool here in the near future, hopefully. But the link is in the comment section right now. If you guys want to come up on and join me, just copy that, put it into your browser, and, keep it family friendly. We don't want to get blocked on YouTube. So please try not to cuss. I know a lot of people come on and they just start dropping F-bombs. And the next thing you know, I'm getting a warning from YouTube as well as Facebook. But if you come up, it's open right now for you guys. What do you guys feel? How do you feel about the Las Vegas Raiders right now? Like, as it stands right now, Geno Smith is the quarterback. Pete Carroll is the head coach. John Spytek is the general manager. The Hall of Famer quarterback, Tom Brady, is now a minority owner, and he has a lot to say. We need some stuff, right? We need some really good guards that we need to draft. But at the same time, I think that right now, as the Raiders roster is, with the head coach that we have, with the offensive coordinator we have, with the defensive coordinator we have, I honestly believe that we could go into the season with no additions, and I think that the Raiders would be competitive. Now, I think that if you go and you get an Ashton Jeanty at pick number 6, and Abdul Carter at pick number 6, even a Mason Graham at pick number 6. I think that you would be in a really good position to be super competitive, even in the AFC West. First and foremost, I honestly don't think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to continue their reign of terror in the AFC West. Travis Kelce is on his last leg. And as you've seen, listen, everybody's seen how you beat KC. Now, we showed how to beat KC 2 years ago on Christmas Day, and that's defensive line. Patrick Mahomes is good, but if Patrick Mahomes has no time in the pocket consistently over and over again, he's not that good, just like any quarterback. And so if you want to beat the Chiefs, the blueprint was set by the Raiders 2 years ago, and Philly just copied us, and they beat them in the Super Bowl. And so I think that the Raiders right now, getting Malcolm Kuntz back healthy, getting him a contract extension, obviously Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins. If you were to draft a guy like Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan, the Raiders have an absolute dominant defensive line this coming year. And don't forget, Tyree Wilson did take a step last year in his career. If he takes another step and can really start to pan out, and live up to that number 7 overall draft pick that we got from him, I think that the Raiders' defensive line is going to be really dominant. And with Geno Smith being a very accurate, tough quarterback, stands in the pocket, takes the hits, but still delivers the ball, the Raiders are going to be a lot better this year. Let's get into some of the content. Remember, this is open mic. If you guys do want to join me, just go and check the comments. Look for Raider D Podcast. The StreamYard link is in the comments, and you guys can actually come up and say your piece. Everybody will get at least 5 minutes. Matt Sanchez, one of our grand prize winners here. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Hope everything is going good out there in sunny California, out there on the beach, man. You're making me jealous, bro. Missing my Cali days. But I'm out here on the property in the high desert, and I'm kind of loving that the seclusion and not being bothered by people and being able to do what I want to do. Matt says, very optimistic about the Raiders. The problem is I'm usually optimistic this time of year, but it definitely feels different this year. I would agree with that 100%. When you get a coach at the caliber of Pete Carroll, when you get a quarterback who's one of the most complete quarterbacks that you can get on the free agent market, and I know we traded for him, so it's not actually a free agent, but in Geno Smith, a guy who is going to bring you very solid quarterback play. Not the best, but very solid, and that's something that we've lacked since Derek Carr left. And then you get a guy like Chip Kelly as the offensive coordinator, and boom, there you go. We have a high draft pick. Again, Brock Bowers, best tight end in the NFL. If you supplement that with the best running back in the NFL with an Ashton Jeanty, the offense is a clicking, and I am all for it. Raider Ryan, my dude, once again coming through for the Raider D podcast here and supporting the channel like he always does. Gifted 5 Raider D podcast memberships. I know just a week ago he gifted like 10. So all of you guys who just got memberships, man, big shout out to Raider Ryan. Appreciate you. Love you, my man. PDL says, man, is that your picture? Is that really your picture? Dude, you are buff. You are buff. I've never been that big. My biggest point has been 220 pounds. It's where I'm at right now, and I am completely out of shape after my health scare last year. I was just doing some push-ups. It's really the first time I've done some like push-ups in a few months. And I did about 40 of them, and I was wrecked the next day. That's how out of shape I am right now. And it's terrible. I'm trying to get back into it, but, I got to take it slowly with my health condition. But PDL says, how I feel about the Raiders right now. Number one, the Raiders have upgraded the head coach. 2, the QB position is upgraded substantially. 3, Tom's influence is a plus. I mean, I can't argue against that. I think all 3 of those things are true at this point. Now, we'll see if it actually starts to bring us some victories, then I'll really start to celebrate, right? As it stands right now, not too sure. But, at the end of the day, it all depends on getting those victories. Once you get the victories, that's when you can really start to celebrate. Javier says, we look better than last year. That's true. I agree with it. Again, Pete Carroll, future Hall of Fame coach. You have Aiden O'Connell is probably one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL who has starter level capabilities. And then you go and you get a wily veteran, a tough veteran, an accurate passer in Geno Smith. And I think things are looking up. You combine that with the fact that, and this is what a lot of people have not been talking about. Jacoby Myers did not drop a single pass last year. Not one. That is insane. That's how good Jacoby Myers is, and nobody's talking about this dude. He had over 1,000 yards, not a single drop. And the fact that he was able to do that, despite the fact that Brock Bowers was getting all the attention, just goes to speak volumes about how good of a wide receiver we actually have. How many did Devontae Adams, how many passes did he drop last year? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know what the number is. Drop a comment down below and let me know if you know how many he dropped. But it was a lot more than Jacoby Myers. So I think you have Jacoby Myers and you have Brock Bowers, and Trey Tucker is still like, we need a quarterback who can get Trey the ball over the top. Because last year we didn't really utilize Trey the way that he needed to be utilized. And I think that's, you're going back and forth with who the quarterback's going to be and this and that. It was an absolute dumpster fire last year. But with Geno Smith, who's been a very tough, healthy quarterback, very accurate passer who stands in the pocket, he will take the punishment and still deliver an accurate pass. That's very important because he does not get the happy feet that we saw last year with both Minshew and AOC. And so the fact that he'll stand in there until the last moment and then launch that rocket on down the field, that's going to open things up for Trey Tucker. Expect Trey Tucker to have the best year of his career, in my opinion, this season, having a quarterback at the caliber of Geno Smith. And again, I'm not blowing smoke up Geno Smith's dress, okay? I'm not saying Geno Smith is going to lead us to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that Geno Smith is the best quarterback in the world and the best quarterback the Raiders have ever had. We know that's not the case. But what I am saying is this. At 35 years old, the dude's been in the NFL for a long time. There's no defense that he hasn't seen, and there's no amount of sacks that he's taken that's made him get happy feet so far. So I don't expect him to get happy feet now. Now, if we can just address a few things like the guard position, and we can solidify that, then the Raiders are going to be even better. And if you go and you add a all-pro rookie running back, along with that all-pro second-year tight end in Brock Bowers, boom, there you go. The offense is up and running. And we're going to talk more about the offense here in just a second as well, and what the draft is going to mean for the offense moving forward, because that's been our biggest issue. It really hasn't been defense. It's been the offense can't stay on the field. They can't score points. Thomas Wolf, where is your gym, Raider D? What kind of gym is it? My gym is 55 Acre Ranch. That's my gym. Lifting heavy stuff every single day and building stuff. That's my gym. I got a little pull-up bar, and I have weights and stuff like that. I haven't really been able to hit them lately just because, last year I had if you guys are new, if you didn't know, last year almost died. That sucked. Fortunately, my wife was able to save my life and get me to the hospital and stuff. But I lost 3 days of memory. I was like unconscious, like in a coma type thing. It was a really big scare, and my health has never really gotten back to that. Before that, I trained every single day and been training like that for 25, 30 years, something. And but now I am out of shape. I did 40 push-ups the other day, and I was absolutely wrecked the next day. I can't really run anymore. I try to run, and my energy is just sapped. Part of it's getting a little bit older, but then the other part is the issue that I had with my heart last year. Which was pretty crazy. It was a wild thing because I don't have clogged arteries. I don't have heart disease. I don't have any of that. But my heart just decided to take off at full sprint speed when I was sitting on the couch for absolutely no reason. And my heart stopped and I almost died. So kind of wild, but I'm trying to get back into shape now, especially with the spring and the summer. My property's really, really cold, and when we started building out here, it was in the middle of winter, which was just super smart. But it's definitely getting back into it now. So hopefully you guys will see me get the guns back. You know what I mean? These ones. Get them back here soon. G Wereb, oh my gosh, no, not G Wereb, man. It is always the glass half empty with you, bro. Okay, let's see what you got for me today, G Wereb. Let's go. If the Raiders don't draft Shador, they better draft Milroe. The rest of the QBs in the draft are a dime a dozen. Howard equals Will Levis. I agree. McCord equals Davis Mills. I agree. Dart equals Ewers. A weak Carr, and so on. Okay, so let me just say this. I don't think the Raiders are going to draft Shador. I know Mark Davis loves him, but I'm going to tell you right now, from the people that I have talked to, as far as the GM and the scout room goes, they are much more impressed with Cam Ward. Much more impressed. And the issue is right now, Shador stock is sliding, and it is sliding like the stock market after tariffs. Okay? So, in my opinion, I don't think that I think the Raiders signing Geno Smith, and I talked about this in yesterday's video. I don't think the Raiders go and draft Shador Sanders when you just signed a 2-year extension contract to Geno Smith who is exactly the same quarterback. So why would, like, if you're going to draft somebody, you're drafting them because they're an upgrade over your quarterback now. Geno Smith will most likely, barring some crazy injury, he's going to be the starting quarterback of the Raiders for the next 3 years. Love it or hate it, you better get used to it, because you're going to see Geno Smith out there on the field for the next 3 years. And so would you draft a Shedeur Sanders this year when you already have an older version of Shedeur Sanders, and then make Shedeur Sanders sit for 3 years? I don't see it. I think Shedeur Sanders goes to the Giants. I honestly don't, and I'm hoping he goes to the Giants, because I don't want the Raiders to do that. That's a waste of a number 6 overall pick. We need to win now. Shedeur Sanders is 3 or 4 years from now. So you need to give your quarterback that you just signed an $85 million top deal. I know it's $75 million, but with the incentives, he hits $85 million. So we're just going to say he's going to hit the incentives, and we'll call it $85 million. Okay. You need to give him more weapons to score touchdowns. And what better weapon to help you score touchdowns and win games than a dude like Ashton Jeanty? I've been saying it for months. The Raiders need to draft this guy, because a running back of his caliber only comes around every 15 to 30 years. I'm telling you right now, and I said it in my thing last year, a lot of people were saying, don't draft a quarterback that high. Don't draft a quarterback at round 1. Well, let me ask you this. Those same people who are saying don't draft him, in your Madden football video game, when you go to make your Hall of Fame team, is Barry Sanders not your running back? Is Bo Jackson not your running back? If it's good enough for your Madden game, why isn't it good enough for real life? Because that's what Ashton Jeanty is going to be. This dude is different. He is on a different level than every running back that has come out for years. Now, I can't guarantee that that's going to translate into the NFL and he's going to put up those kinds of numbers. But I can tell you this. If you give that dude the rock 30 times a game, he'll be a 12, 13, 1,400 yard rusher. And he'll probably score you 15 to 20 touchdowns. And that's just something that we haven't had in a long time. PDL says, it is me, dude. Oh, you are looking good, brother. Keep up the good work. You are looking yoked, my man. Mate, you should try and get a job with the Raiders as a strength and conditioning assistant. Thomas Wolf says, glad you're okay. I had a similar event. Almost died at the VA. My goodness. My goodness. Well, I hope you're doing good now, my brother. And it's, you know what, I'm going to tell you, listen, I don't jump into politics here, but I'm going to tell you what is happening to the VA right now is an absolute shame. Absolute shame. Laying off all those veterans who work at the VA, to me, is just a disgrace. And I can't even stomach it. It's just, it pisses me off. Let's see. Thank you, brother. John Raider 98. He's got Shedeur on his profile picture for the YouTube. It says we can get out of Geno's contract at no cost after the second year. No, we can't. He has $68 million guaranteed. And so, yeah, I mean, you could get out of it, but you're going to eat dead cap like crazy. Why not groom Shedeur? In the meantime, Shedeur is just as good as Geno right now. His ceiling is higher. Well, we don't know that Shedeur is as good as Geno right now. We don't know that, for one, because he's never taken a snap in the NFL. And I'm going to tell you right now, going from college to the NFL, it is a process. These quarterbacks, I don't care how good they are. And I said this last year, the Raiders should sell the farm for Jaden Daniels because he will be a generational player. He is on a different level. A lot of people didn't believe me. They said that, he's from LSU. He's just going to be a bust and blah, blah, blah. And look what he did last year. This dude is probably going to win a Super Bowl within the next 3 or 4 years of his career. And he'll probably win multiple Super Bowls with the Commanders, unfortunately. But all the rest of the quarterbacks, it is going to be a process for them, right? And yes, it's a shorter process now because college offensive coordinators are playing a lot more pro-style football than they used to. And so it is a shorter process, but it is a process. And you just don't know until they get there. And listen, I've watched a ton of Shedeur Sanders game tape. He is a good quarterback. I think he will have a good career in the NFL. I don't think he's generational, and I don't think he's great. So for me, I would rather the Raiders go out and get somebody who we know is going to be generational. It is almost impossible that Ashton Jeanty on a good team is not going to be a Hall of Fame running back. And listen, I know that's a bold statement because he's never played a snap in the NFL. He's never had these guys in the NFL who can really tackle, get a hold of him, and see if he can bounce off them. However, when you watch him play, I know he played at Boise State, Mountain West, all of those arguments against him. When you watch this dude play, though, he's on a different level. Listen, you can say it's Mountain West, Boise State all you want. Boise State has never had a running back that's done what he's done in the Mountain West. I mean, it was like a grown man playing against 6-year-olds. Different level. Mark my words, if the Raiders don't get Ashton Jeanty, I will cry. Because I'm telling you, when this dude hits the NFL, he is going to light it up. And if I'm wrong, I will be the first one to admit it, but I don't think I'm wrong. Big Tyler in the house. What is going on, my man? Salute. Having Geno as our bridge doesn't require drafting a quarterback. I think we'll address other roster holes, especially with a deep running back class. And listen, I said this the other day too. What if the Raiders were to do something crazy, like Pete Carroll is prone to do, and you draft Ashton Jeanty at pick number 6. And then at the second round, you've got Travion Henderson sitting there, Judkins sitting there, maybe Omari and Hampton sitting there. Do you take 2 running backs? Because Zamir White is not it. He's not it. And Laube, I like him, but I think he's a special teamer. We need running backs. Mostert is old. Well, at best, we're going to get one good year out of Mostert. So what if you had 2 dynamic running backs? That would be crazy. Bama Kami says the QB position matters most is what is between the ears, and it's the only thing we can't examine. True. I mean, you can examine it, and this is going to be the GMs and the scouts, right? So when they do these interviews with these guys, listen, they haven't even done one with Shedeur, and I think that's kind of telling. They've done it with others. They haven't done it with Shedeur. Listen, when you talk about interviewing these guys, part of the interview is they're quizzing these dudes on playbooks. There's no doubt that Shedeur Sanders, he's got it up here for sure. He's very smart. He's been playing ball his whole life, and he's been very well coached. He runs an offense very great, and he reads defenses very good. My only issue with him is when he gets to the NFL, can he be elite? And that's a lot harder to do when you don't really have the elite athleticism. Doesn't have the elite arm. But he's very accurate and he's very smart. Raider Ryan with the $2 super chat says, hit that like button. Only 5 likes on, I haven't even checked. Only 5 likes on the stream today. 5 likes, guys. Is that what we're doing right now? Is that how we're showing support to the Raiders content creators out here? We just kind of watch and do some voyeurism, but we ain't gonna buy, hit that like button, baby. Raiders! Spam Raiders down in the comments right now. I want to see at least 30 Raiders comments down in the section to show your love for the Las Vegas Raiders. And for me, you know, I'm from Northern California, so it was the Oakland Raiders. And then they went to my second home, which is the LA area, so the LA Raiders. And now to my third loving home, which is close by me, but it's not my home, and that's Las Vegas. So show your love to the Raiders by spamming Raiders right now and hit those like buttons. Let's get them fired up. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's get it. You can do it. Let's get back into the comments here. I am seeing some Raiders being spammed. I love it. I love it. Let's go. I want to get into this comment. Where you at? Where you at? So Jason says, love your take on Ashton. Appreciate it. Hey, I'm not right all the time. I am wrong at least twice a day, but I tell you one thing. I totally believe that Ashton Jeanty is going to be the dude. He is going to be the dude when he gets into the NFL. He's just going to knock it out of the park. Oliver Lopez Villa says Jay Walker or Mason Graham if it were between the two. Raiders. Brave Raider in the house. What is going on, my man? So if Travis Hunter is there, Hunter is coming in as a wide receiver. Abdul Carter, Shador, Jeanty, all at 6. Who are you taking? Oh, you put me on the spotlight, Brave Raider. Spotlight. Oh, that's a tough one. Do you take the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter? Do you take the Micah Parsons clone in Abdul Carter? Do you take a quarterback in Shador or an all-pro running back? And I'm saying all-pro because I believe he's going to be all-pro in Ashton Jeanty. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. That is a tough one. Here's what I do in that situation. If you have Travis Hunter sitting there, and you have Abdul Carter sitting there, and you have Shador sitting there, and you have Ashton Jeanty sitting there, and we're talking fantasy world because there's no way all those dudes would make it to pick 6. I'm telling you right now, Abdul Carter has gone pick number 2, 2 or 4. And then Travis Hunter is probably the first guy off of the board. And Shador and Jeanty are possibly there. But let's say for fantasy thing, what I would do is I would trade back 2 places. I would trade back 2 places and I would pick up an additional second round pick this year. I'd want the additional second round. No, next year. I want it this year. I want that additional second this year. And I want a second round pick next year. I would trade back 2 places. Maybe 3 places. Because this is why. If you trade back 3 places and you can get that haul, then you're going to secure yourself either Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Shador Sanders, or Ashton Jeanty. All of them would be a good pick at pick number 9. And so if you can get a haul for that to move back 3 places for a team that really wants to move up, for a team that really needs their guy, I would do that. And then you don't have to worry about it. You just take one of the 4, whoever's left. But if I had to pick, like gun to the head, and I had to pick, who am I going to go with? It's a tough one. It is a tough one. Here's my concern with Travis Hunter. As a dual position player in college, phenomenal. His athleticism, phenomenal. His endurance, phenomenal. But is he a pure pass catcher? As a wide receiver, can he be your ex-wide receiver in the NFL? Or is it Tet McMillan better at that position? I think Tet McMillan is more pure of a wide receiver than Travis Hunter is. So then do you put him at corner? Corner is a very, 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 very strong position. I think that more likely you'd have to play him at corner. And then maybe you throw in some goal line positions where he can come in as a wide receiver. But you by no means can let him play both. Because if he is your X receiver and your starting cornerback and he gets hurt, you just lost 2 players for the price of 1. I by no means, if he is demanding to play both sides of the ball like Deion Sanders said he would, I don't take him. Because you cannot risk to lose both your starting receiver and your starting corner. He's got to pick one, and he's got to go with it. In my opinion, he is a better corner than a wide receiver. Make him a corner. So I think I'd have to pass on Travis for that reason. Now you want to talk about Abdul Carter. For me, Abdul Carter is the best defensive edge in this draft class, and he is absolutely crazy. Remember, he only played edge defender 1 year in college. That was this past year. He was a linebacker, so he's versatile. You can drop him back into coverage and play him at that linebacker position, which is a massive upgrade. He's great against the pass. He can blitz. He's got everything you need. Then on third down, you bring that dude up on the line. He has twitch and bend like no other. Problem with Abdul Carter, and this is going to remain to be seen how this transitions into the NFL when he is playing up against bigger and stronger tackles on that offensive line, is his power. He doesn't have a lot of it. He relies on speed and twitch, and that's great. But when an offensive tackle gets his hands on Abdul Carter, it sometimes is difficult for him to get off of that block because he does not have the raw power that a bigger edge defender will have in the NFL. So that's my only concern with Abdul Carter. He has such a massive upside. He could be one of the best edge defenders to come out of college in 10, 15 years since Micah Parsons, really. But also he could be a bust. If he cannot get off of those blocks from those very big, powerful left and right tackles, it's going to be difficult. But I think that's a low-risk situation for him. So he's definitely at the top of the list. I pass on Shedeur Sanders. We have Geno Smith. Let's draft the quarterback next year or the year after and see how that plays out. And then, so really it's Abdul Carter or Jeanty. Well, where is our biggest problem right now? Scoring points. And we don't have running backs that can do that. Mostert is going to do a good job, but he's old. So, to me, I'm going to go with Ashton Jeanty. I'm going running back. As much as I love Abdul Carter and I would love to have him paired up with Max Crosby, what a tandem that would be, I also still believe in Malcolm Kuntz. Matt Sanchez says, definitely taking Hunter. Okay. Heather says, Raiders just win, baby. I added that part on there. Got another one from David. Raiders! And Justin. Raiders! Yeah, let's go. I'm going to lose my voice so I keep saying that. Justin says, hit that like button or you a hoe like a gardening tool. We're talking about gardening right now. I have a big garden that I need to get put together for this spring. I still haven't done it because I have so many things to do out here on the Raider Ranch. Thomas says, Jeanty and then Scattaboo to finish them off. That would be a crazy combination. Scattaboo, a power back. I think that could work because I think Scattaboo will be available in the third round, to be honest. I think you're going to see Jeanty go first. A lot of hype on Amari and Hampton, Travion Henderson, Judkins. I think all those guys go first. So I think that's going to leave a guy like Scattaboo probably in the third round. Bam Makami, the Raiders need Ashton right now because Father Time is coming after our head coach. That's true. And listen, when it comes down to it, our new head coach, Pete Carroll, loves the run game. And I just don't see how you pass on Ashton Jeanty if he's sitting there at pick number 6. Now, that's not even a guarantee that he will be there at pick number 6, because there is some speculation that the Cowboys are infatuated with Ashton Jeanty, and they may be willing to sell the farm to move up ahead of the Raiders to get Ashton Jeanty. So if that's the case, if Ashton Jeanty is not on the board, I don't advocate the Raiders trading up at all for Ashton Jeanty or any other player in this draft. I think the Raiders sit tight at pick number 6. And in fact, I'll tell you this. If the Raiders were to trade with the Dallas Cowboys, if you can get the Dallas Cowboys first round draft pick next year and a additional second round draft pick this year, I think the Raiders would be wise to do that. And here's why. Because if you have 2 first round draft picks next year and you make the playoffs, you have a back end. You're somewhere between 25 and 32 or 20 and 32, depending on where you fall in the playoffs for next year's draft pick. And if you're trying to get a quarterback by the last name of Manning, you're going to need 2 first-round draft picks to move up there. So if that's the long-term goal, then you could definitely go and get a Judkins, a Henderson, a Hampton for your running back. And all 3 of those dudes are really, really good. Michael says, take Sanders' name away from him and his body of work in college and skill as a quarterback. How good would we rank him? I would not put them in the top 5 without Sanders' name. To be honest, I listen, if I'm looking at last year's draft class and Sanders doesn't have the nameplate Sanders, I think he probably would have been drafted by the Raiders at pick 13 behind Bo Nix. I think he's the last quarterback drafted last year, which would suck because then we don't have the best tight end in the NFL that we have now. So I agree with that. I honestly, I don't buy all the hype into Shedeur Sanders. I've been saying it. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I honestly think Cam Ward has a higher upside. I think Cam Ward will be a better quarterback. He is a playmaker. I think he will be a better quarterback, and he's had to earn it. Not saying that Shedeur hasn't earned it through hard work. He has, but having Deion Sanders as your father, that helps a lot. Whereas Cam Ward didn't have that. He had to come from a small school, and he had to work his way up to get to Miami to do what he did. He's got that grit and that grind. Matt in the house, what's going on, brother? Hunter is a cornerback and a part-time wide receiver. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that one. Very happy about Geno, but he's 34, and he's going to be 35. And I don't want a non-athletic QB. Jalen Milroe is going to be a big surprise, and we all know the Raiders will not draft him. It's obvious because of past QB drafts. I don't think that there is any precedence with how the Raiders are going to draft because we have a brand new regime. And to be honest, if you have Geno Smith as your quarterback for the next 3 years, you've got time now to develop a guy. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you. If the Raiders can get Jalen Milroe in the 3rd round, I will celebrate. I don't think you get him in the 1st round for sure. He is not ready to be a 1st round quarterback. I think if Jalen Milroe stayed in college for another year, maybe he transfers to a different team like a Miami where they're going to throw the ball a lot and he can and really upgrade his arm. I think next year he would be a 1st round draft pick. But he's not this year because he doesn't throw the ball a lot. The way they play him is they make him use his legs. And so I don't think that the Raiders should draft him in the first or second round because he's not ready for the NFL. He's just not. He's not there yet. He's got a ways to go. But if we draft him in the third round and you let him sit for 2 or 3 years and get trained up to be an NFL quarterback, this dude, his athleticism and his intelligence, he's working on like his PhD or something right now. Or his master's, sorry. He's working on his master's degree right now. This dude has what it takes up here, and he has the athleticism. He just needs to get better as a quarterback in reading defenses and making the appropriate throws. And he needs to work on his touch pass a little bit. So I would be happy with that. Matt Sanchez, I keep hearing it's a draft full of starters, not stars. That's an interesting take. I haven't heard that one, but when it comes to quarterbacks, true. I think the only star quarterback, in my opinion, like that's ready to be a star in the NFL, is Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. And I say Shedeur because of his nameplate, he'll be a star. But I'm not sure if he'll play like one. I think he would be, in my opinion, I think he would put up Bo Nix kind of numbers. I think if you draft Shedeur, he could probably get you to the playoff. He could probably get you a wild card position because he's a very accurate quarterback and he reads defenses very well. So if you design your offense around him and you're a run-heavy offense where you're not relying on him to win all the games, and you can have a good offensive line that's going to protect him, he's going to make good, accurate passes down the field. He's not going to throw a bunch of interceptions. But is he going to take over a game and just light you up like a superstar quarterback? I don't think so. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So as far as quarterbacks go, that's kind of how I'm feeling about that situation right now with them. We're going to take a quick little commercial break. I'm just going to throw this commercial on. The links to Aura is down below. I will be back in 2 seconds.
And I got to tell you something that has been bothering me. Bank of America just announced another data breach, and here's what's really messed up is they sat on it for months before telling anyone. The average company takes 277 days to report a breach. Think about that. Your personal info could be out there right now, and you wouldn't even hear about it until next year. That's crazy. This isn't even Bank of America's first rodeo this year. And last year, Citigroup and JP Morgan Chase both had breaches too. Your bank could be compromised right now and you wouldn't even know about it for months. You really want to give some criminal a 9-month head start on stealing your identity? I didn't think so. That's why I'm pumped up to tell you about today's sponsor, Aura. These guys are legit. They'll alert you if they find your phone number, your email, your social security number floating around on the dark web. What I love about Aura is they'll let you know fast if anyone tries to use your info to access your credit or your bank accounts. None of this waiting around for months nonsense. They back it up with a $5 million theft guarantee. Now that's some serious loyalty, nation. Plus they've got a bunch of other features to keep you safe online, all in an easy to use app. Look, you can go to my link, hour.com/RDP, to try it out for free for 14 days. No obligation. That's enough time for Hour to find out if any of your personal data has been exposed. You'll learn about it before one of these companies is forced to actually notify you. I highly recommend you doing this right now because the only thing most of these companies are gonna do to help you if you get a data breach is offer credit monitoring after the fact. That's like installing a security camera after your house was already robbed. What good is that? Now let's be real. With all these data breaches that are happening, your social security number could be out there right now, and it might as well be written on a bathroom stall. But if you haven't been hit with fraud yet, why keep rolling the dice if it's because protecting yourself feels overwhelming? I get you, but just let Aura do all the hard work for you. I'm not leaving myself and my family vulnerable to these data breaches, and if you don't want to either, go to aura.com/RDP, try it out for 2 weeks for free, and trust me on this one, nation.
All right, I'm back. Yep, I had to get that in. I had to take a quick little break. So listen, let's go to Bernardo. John Williams, you're not getting drafted by the Eagles. I don't know what is that? Oh. Are you responding? Geno and the Raiders are not making the playoffs, says John Williams. Well, we shall see. We shall definitely see. Bernardo says get Sanders, pass on a running back. Okay, so you get Sanders. So then what? What do you want to do with Sanders? Because you just paid Geno Smith a guaranteed $68 million. What do you do with Shador? He sits there for 2-3 years, right? So you use a number 6 overall draft pick on a quarterback that you're not going to play for at least 2 years, maybe 3. I don't think that that's a smart investment, especially when our head coach is like 150 years old. I don't see how drafting a quarterback in the first round makes any sense. Now, listen, if Shador Sanders, which is plausible, if Shador Sanders were to fall to the second round, okay, now it makes more sense. You draft Ashton Jeanty, and then he's still sitting there in the second round. You're like, hey, okay, well, here's our franchise quarterback moving forward. Yeah. Now, G. Wereb says, the pattern of the Raiders, no matter who the head coach and GM is look at our history. We never draft a QB like Milroe. It's always these Aiden O'Connell types, and it's boring and losing. We have drafted quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks in the past. Terrell Pryor. Didn't work out. But I am with you. I think Milroe has a very high upside, and you have to pay attention. The dude is just so athletic. He's so athletic. You have to pay attention to him. In my opinion, you do not use a first-round draft pick on him whatsoever. You would be a fool. You would draft way too high for him, because I would be shocked if a single team in the NFL drafts him in the first round. I will be absolutely flabbergasted, because when you watch the games that he lost against dominant defenses that did not let him run wild with his legs, he was not good. He was not good at all. And in the NFL, if you were to make him the starter week 1, you would crush his confidence, and he would be a bust. But that's to say, like, Cam Ward is an athletic quarterback. He doesn't use it very much, doesn't need to. But he more or less uses it to get out of the pocket and make big plays down the field. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is no Lamar Jackson. I don't know why everybody thinks Patrick Mahomes is a mobile quarterback. He is not a mobile quarterback. What makes Patrick Mahomes so good? Number one, the refs let his offensive line commit holding plays over and over and over again. And so that buys him time and gets him out of the pocket. But he is good at scrambling. So he is a scrambling quarterback, not a mobile quarterback. He is actually quite slow. He runs like a 4.59. Like him and Aiden O'Connell run the same 40-yard dash. So the difference is he is just so much better at getting out of a sack versus Aiden O'Connell. But he's not fast. Jalen Milroe runs a 4.3 40. He will blow the doors off of Patrick Mahomes. But can he throw the ball? So far in college, he hasn't proven that. Thomas says Sanders is going to fail in the NFL if he doesn't sit first year minimum. I don't think he would fail in the NFL if he's in a good situation. If he has a good offensive line, he has good offensive weapons, and a run-heavy offense where it's not all on him, I think he would be okay. Because again, he has a very intelligent young man. A lot of people always want to talk about the Rolex and the flash, but let's be honest. he is no more flashy than Cincinnati's quarterback who came out of LSU. He's just a confident dude. He's smart, and he's won a lot of games. He's turned around programs. Him and his dad turned around programs that were trash. Jackson State, Colorado, garbage organizations. Turned them around, made them winning teams. So I think he would do okay in the right system. Now, if you put him in a team like Cleveland, I think any quarterback would struggle there. But again, my issue with him is I don't think he's the best quarterback in the college draft this year. I honestly believe Cam Ward is a better, higher upside dude. Shedeur is kind of capped because he doesn't have the rocket for an arm. He doesn't have the uncanny ability to get out of sacks like Cam Ward does. And so I think Cam Ward, maybe not as accurate as Shedeur Sanders, has a higher upside. So his ceiling is higher than Shedeur. But I think that Shedeur, again, my comp for Shedeur is Geno Smith. I am under no illusion that Geno Smith is going to revolutionize the Raiders as our quarterback. I am under no illusion that Shedeur Sanders would either. I think they're the same player. One's just younger. And so a good point is you could draft Shedeur because they're the same player, and then you could get out of his contract. But the problem is there's like $68 million of it's guaranteed. So you're kind of locked yourself in when you did that. Michael says, I don't believe the Raiders are done, and for free agency, look for the Raiders to either sign one of these two players, bringing back Amari Cooper, and signing Geno's favorite receiver. You're talking about Tyler Lockett. So the situation with Tyler Lockett has been weird. The Raiders have been in talks with him, and everybody in the building thought Tyler Lockett would be signed by now. But the Raiders have been kind of holding off because Tyler Lockett's production has dropped significantly over the past couple of years. And Amari Cooper, same thing. I honestly don't think that Amari Cooper comes back to the Raiders. I just don't see it happening. It could. Same thing with Tyler Lockett. It could happen, but honestly, I don't see it happening. I think right now you have Brock Bowers, who is a receiving tight end. So basically, Brock Bowers could be your ex-wide receiver, and the Raiders may be planning on doing that because he could be a wide receiver in the NFL, and he could be a top 5. So you don't even have to play this dude. You could transition Brock Bowers from tight end to wide receiver. You could absolutely do that. And I don't think that's going to happen due to the fact that they have Michael Mayer on the block and he may get traded away. But you have that potential. But then you have Jacoby Myers, a dude who, again, the fact that nobody's been talking about him is absolutely crazy. Makes no sense to me. The dude didn't drop a single pass last year. That's nuts. That's nuts. So right off there, now you need some depth, obviously. We have some other wide receivers on the team. But you could definitely draft a wide receiver. I've talked about him. There's going to be a couple that'll be in the second round. I think Matthew Golden will be in the second round. I think he'd be a great pickup. And there's some other guys that'll be available in the second round if you didn't go and get Tet McMillan. But I think that if you were to use Jacoby Myers as your ex-wide receiver, Trey Tucker, and then on your wide receiver, and then you have Brock Bowers lining up at tight end and slot because he can do both, and mix and match, switch Jacoby back over to slot, line Brock Bowers up at the X. So much versatility that you go. That's your core wide receivers. And so I think that the Raiders are in a good situation right now at the wide receiver position. Where we're not good is we're not good at the running back position at all. We are terrible at the running back position. And what happens if, after seeing the Philadelphia Eagles do what they did with their ground game all year last year, what happens if the Raiders don't draft the running back in the first round? And we're expecting guys like Travion Henderson, Omarion Hampton, Judkins. We're expecting these guys to be available in the second round. And there's a rush. Because at the end of the day, nobody knows how the draft is going to go. Nobody knows. Nobody expected there to be a run on quarterbacks the way it happened last year. Nobody expected Brock Bowers to get out of the top 10 and fall into the Raiders' lap at 13. So these things can absolutely happen. They do happen. And if there's a rush on running backs in the first round, the Raiders would be sitting there in the second round without a running back. And that's bad news. That's bad news because we don't have a long-term answer at running back. Raider High says, I'd take Golden over T-Mac. Okay. Tell me why Matthew Golden, despite the fact that the dude's a speedster. Tell me why Matthew Golden over T-Mac. And I'm going to say why I would take T-Mac over Golden. I think both are going to be great in the NFL. Both have different things that they can do. However, I think T-Mac as an ex-wide receiver, a guy who excels at those contested catches, a guy who can stretch the field, but he is also great as a slot and in-route type wide receiver. Great footwork. Not the fastest guy, but he doesn't need to be, because you just need to throw the ball up to him, and that guy who's 3 inches shorter than him is not going to come down with it. T-Mac is. And so that's why I feel that T-Mac is probably the best wide receiver in this class to be drafted as a pure X wide receiver. Oliver says, Justin Brown was thinking the same, maybe a couple of inches, LOL. Gwera, yeah, there is a difference between Abdul and Walker. Most defensive players that come from Georgia or Alabama fail in the NFL, like 90% of them. Matt says, bring back third and Renfro if he's healthy. He is healthy. He was in the state, or he was in the practice facility. I would not mind bringing him back at all as a depth player. Remember, this guy's a Pro Bowl wide receiver with over 1,000 yards and like 14, 15 touchdowns just a couple of years ago. So I think you could definitely bring him back. And I think it would be smart to bring him back just because of the fact that you need some depth at the wide receiver position. And he's been out of a job for a while, a year. And so he would be cheap. He's not going to cost you. Titus Green says Bowers definitely can't play wide receiver full time. I think he could. I have no doubt that dude could play X wide receiver full time. If you were to make him a slot wide receiver, oh my God, he'd be the best slot wide receiver in the NFL. I have no doubt about that, because he lined up last year quite often in the slot. He would line up off of the tight end position, which is the slot position, and dominated. That is a wide receiver position. Now, if you're talking about the X, the wide out position, wide receiver one, he did that a few times last year as well. And again, just dominated, but they didn't play him that as much at the outside wide receiver position, number one. But I have no doubt this dude is just so good. I don't see a position that he could not play other than maybe quarterback. He's just too good. Raider Ryan, I saw an interview with Golden, and I love that kid's knowledge of the game and passion for it. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you guys didn't see my wide receiver breakdown video, go and check that one out. It was like 2 weeks ago. Matthew Golden, I think he would be the golden child for the Raiders if the Raiders were to draft him. I don't see him being drafted in the first round. I think he is a second round guy. I think he'll get drafted in the second round. So if the Raiders are sitting there at pick number 6 and you want to go wide receiver, I think you'd have to go Tet McMillan again, just because Tet McMillan is about as short of a wide receiver as you can draft out of this wide receiver draft class that you know is going to be your starter day one. He's going to be your X wide receiver, your wide receiver 1. He's going to line up out on the out, and he's just so good at coming down with these contested catches, which builds so much confidence. And then imagine this. You got Tet, right? And you got Brock Bowers, and it's 3rd and 9 on the goal line. Jump ball season. You just listen. Smith back, going looking in the pass, looking at Brock Bowers, throws it to the edge. Tet McMillan, touchdown Raiders, and vice versa with Brock Bowers. That's the only wide receiver at pick number 6 I would pick for that reason right there, is he's going to score a lot of touchdowns for you on short yard and in short yardage situations on the goal line. If you're throwing it, you just throw it back of the end zone, let him jump up there and get it, because he's going to come down with it. Raider Ryan says next year's quarterback class will be much better. Who do you like for next year? And do we know if Manning is going to come out next year? I suspect he will, but I haven't seen anything where he said that he would. Michael says, everyone wants the Raiders to get our future quarterback in the first, second round, but let's remember what quarterback is the best quarterback in the NFL, or was, and what position in the draft was he drafted. You talking about Tom Brady? Yeah, I know we do talk about Tom Brady a lot, but let's also remember that Peyton Manning was, pick number 1 or 2 in his draft class. Him and Ryan Leaf, I think he went number 1 and then Leaf went 2, or Leaf went number 1 and he went number 2. Either way, there's so many top 10 quarterbacks who were drafted who went on to win Super Bowls as well. Patrick Mahomes, what was he picked, like number 7 or something? I think the Chiefs even moved up to get him. Joe Burrow. Like there's a lot of first round guys who've had a lot of success. Jaden Daniels, perfect example. First year, makes playoffs. You're not always going to find that gem in the later rounds, is what I'm saying. So I do get the premise of, we haven't spent a first round draft pick on a quarterback since Jamarcus Russell. And maybe that caused the Raiders organization PTSD. And that's why we haven't done it since. But we have missed out on quite a few guys who are game changers because we haven't done it. I just don't think that the Raiders should do it this year. I think if you do it this year, you end up with the possibility of a Jamarcus Russell repeat. I don't think you could actually ever repeat Jamarcus Russell, because he was like a 400-pound quarterback who could not move to save his life. But yeah, I think that the Raiders should wait. I think you should go best player available this year. Last year I said it, sell the farm, get Jaden Daniels. The dude's going to be a Hall of Famer. And he's already proved me right in his rookie year. Dude lit it up. But here, I got a challenge to you guys right now. All my guys in here right now. We got 65 people in here right now. Plus, we got people on Facebook watching right now. The first link in the description is hour.com/RDP. I want you guys to right now click on that link. I want you to go over there and sign up for your 14-day free trial. Yes, you have to put in your credit card, but they're not going to charge you unless you keep the subscription. But here's what I want you to do. Yes, it does help the channel because, yes, they do pay us a commission for this. Straight up, not lying to you. It is a big help to the Raider D podcast when you do sign up. But that's not the main reason why I'm asking you to go over and do this. I want you to know, is your information safe? Is your wife or your significant other, is their information safe? I want you to know, is your kid safe? They don't just do credit reporting. They don't just look at your bank accounts to make sure nobody's using it. They don't just search the dark web to make sure somebody's not stealing your identity. But they also back you up with a $5 million guarantee if your identity is stolen and you suffer any losses. And they have a whole bunch of other features like keeping your kids safe and all this stuff. They have VPN. All of that is included for a ridiculously low price of like $12 or something a month. It is crazy. And if nothing else, just sign up. Get your report done. Have them search the dark web, search for your name, search for your email, search for your phone number, search for your personal details. Have them go and do a report. You'll get the report back before you have to pay for the subscription. And at least that way you have the peace of mind. And here's why. I did mine. I came back clean, which is great. My wife did hers, and there is a bunch of issues. Again, I told you, we got hacked. Her computer got hacked 2 years ago. Caused us a lot of problems. That information is still out there. We didn't know it was out there. Had no idea. Now we know. Now we know where it's at. And now we're able to take that action to get that information changed. Changing those passwords, changing those emails. All of that we would not have known. It's sitting out there on the dark web right now. So go and do it right now. First link down in the description. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next live stream and the next video. I'm going to cut this live stream up because we've got a lot of good stuff in here, a lot of good conversation, and I'll post some videos out of the live stream as well. And then I will be back on live and more videos here coming soon. Until the next one, you know how we end these things, baby. Raiders just win, baby. Salute, Raider Nation.